Welcome to the Tea Post. Fast horses, real life, and oversharing like it's our job. That's Jesse.
And that's Peyton. Grab a drink and maybe a helmet. It's going to get bumpy. So we have like a little PSA kind of, not PSA, but I don't know. So when we were recording our first two episodes and even taking pictures and stuff for it, we had nothing but technical difficulties over and over and over and over again. And like all the things you could think of were not working. So we were having a bunch of technical difficulties recording, taking pictures, getting stuff to upload, getting videos to each other, editing.
Yeah, which I mean, like a lot of it could be explained as like first timers like having issues.
Some
but
stuff
like
was not though.
It was just so much of it though, because I mean we've had like a couple of issues today, but not anything like what we had the first time.
Yeah, like the editing thing where like a bunch of your video just went missing, and then mine I had all the episode like ready to go and I just needed to upload it.
Yeah.
Or like save it or whatever. And I opened it up and everything was like red on the editing software.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't loading.
And I saw that too on my side, but what that ended up being like, this was after the fact that like when I moved stuff around, all of a sudden like a bunch of it disappeared. But if you move the file somewhere else, then like that, then the software can't find it. So then like there was a thing I had to click for it to like find.
Okay.
For it to like go and sort through like all these files on my computer to find the location.
The weird part is though, I literally just walked away from my iPad, went and worked my horses, came back later, opened it up, and it was fine.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's what I think is weird because I didn't know any of that. I just was like, I don't know. I told you I was like, it's gonna be fine. Yeah, that's what the weird part was, is that it was literally all red. No matter what I did, I like couldn't click on anything to make it do anything. It just, there was red, and it was like, it said something about like not online. And I was like, what does that mean? And then I literally just like stepped away from it for an hour or two, came back, and everything was fine. And then I was like, quick, upload.
Yeah.
And I watched it all the way through to make sure it was fine, and then everything was good. But on top of that, what happened to you on the way to work Wednesday, which is the day that we kind of upload stuff because we try to have it hit midnight?
Yeah, so there's constantly traffic with the construction that's going on, and they had it down to one lane with the barrels, and it's like, okay, so it says like a half mile back that there's construction in a half mile, and then it says, okay, it's right lane's closed ahead, and then there's a big yellow sign with an arrow pointing to move over, and I'm in the left lane, there's a line, traffic's stopped, and I'm looking in my rear view because I constantly do, and I always end up putting my hazards on when it comes to that abrupt of a stop, and this car is flying up behind me, clearly not paying attention, probably on their phone, and I was so ready to just swerve off into the ditch if I had to.
Yeah.
I was crawling over onto the shoulder, and then at the last second they got over into the right lane, and luckily I wasn't like up further, because either they would have just ran into some barrels or they wouldn't have moved over and they would have just slammed into me.
Yeah, and then I was gonna go to the gym, and I had been thinking about a Diet Dr. Pepper all day long. I hadn't had one for like a few days or whatever, and I was like, oh, it just sounds good. But I had a tea that I was drinking, so I was like, I'm not gonna open up something new when I have a drink. And I had finished it, and I was like, oh, sweet, I'll drink this on the way to the gym. So I pulled it out of my crisper out of the fridge. I get in my car, I roll my windows down, I peel out of my driveway, tunes bumping, listening to freaking, I'm pretty sure it was 6 months later, Megan Maroney. I'm bumping, I'm going down the road, and I crack my start like a swig, and I remember thinking, well, as I went to go take a swig, it was kind of starting to foam over, and so I was like, oh, I just take a drink before it like foams all over,
spills all over your car.
And I remember feeling like, oh, maybe I just like swallowed too much because it kind of hurt, but that happens sometimes. But then like it was like almost like it was stuck, and then right here it like really started to hurt, and I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, probably because it's cold and so carbonated is my assumption, but like it feels like someone literally stabbed me in the heart. Like, it hurt really, really bad. And I get to the stop sign, and I remember, like, looking down at my shifter and literally, like, hearing, like, this voice of, like, put your car in park because you're going to pass out type situation. And that's the last thing I remember, is I put my car in park. And then I blacked out, and I remember, like, the weird part is I heard, like, voices, and it wasn't the music, because I could hear the music. The music was upbeat. I heard, like, 2 people talking, but I couldn't tell you what they were saying. I know it sounds wild, but it was just really weird. And I was super calm. This is when I was blacked out, and then all of a sudden I remember kind of hearing my cars go by, because it was really busy there on 45. And I remember hearing my engine rev. And then I remember, like, literally, like, convulsing. And then I opened my eyes, and it was like tunnel vision backwards, like everything opened back up. And I remember, like, looking around, and I was so confused, and I was, like, weak, and I felt weird, and I was like, what just happened? And I hadn't fully processed it, so I was like, oh, I just passed out because of the pain of, like, drinking this soda. It just got stuck so much with carbonation. It was just like a pain thing. My body couldn't handle it, because I know you can, like, pass out from pain, and it hurt really bad.
Yeah.
Like a fluke thing. I wasn't dying, but this pain was still there. And so I actually pulled off onto the highway, basically, not the highway, but, like, whatever, county road or whatever that was, to go to the gym. And then I start thinking, then I remember that I was, like, convulsing, and probably, I'm assuming, hit the gas of my car because I heard it revving. I think that was kind of what was, like, bringing me back.
Yeah.
It was like that sound kind of, like, snapped me out of it. And so I pulled into the racetrack driveway over there, and I'm like, did I just have a seizure? So I called my cousin Kayla, and I'm crying, like, Kayla, I think I just had a seizure. And she's like, what, Jesse, what happened? So I explained it to her. I'm like, I think I just had a seizure. Like, I was convulsing, and I hit the gas in the car. And she's like, okay, can I take you to the hospital? Like, I'll drive to Anago, take you to the hospital, and, like, whatever. So I'm, like, crying. Not that it was an eighth of a mile drive back, but I'm scared. I'm shaky. I'm weak. I'm on the phone with her, and then I told her, I was like, I have to call Peyton, because everything should be set to go for YouTube, but, like, just in case, like, I just want to know what's going on. So I call you at work, and I'm like, Peyton, I was like, what happened? I just had a seizure, I think. And we're talking about it, and then while I'm on the phone with you, I think we looked, or was I on the phone with Kayla?
No, it was after you hung up with me, because Kayla was calling you back.
Yeah, so then we figured out basically what happened was it was the Diet Dr. Pepper. There's something called swallow syncope, yeah. And basically it is when you swallow too much, especially with it being really, really cold and freshly carbonated like that. It can make you pass out, because it does restrict, like, airflow or something like that from like the pressure of everything that must be along your, I don't know, whatever. And then the shaking is more rare, but it can happen basically because your body's in shock from being essentially knocked out and oxygen deprived. So it wasn't an actual seizure, but I mean, kind of in a way. I mean, I will say my mouth was loose. I remember my mouth being loose and, like, kind of, like, not, I just wasn't closed, but it wasn't, like, you know, I don't know, whatever. Because I remember, like, the first thing I was like, where am I? Why am I in my car? What's happening? And then I was like, oh, I'm going to the gym. So I pull out on the road. But yeah, so I'm crying because I'm like, whatever. And then I was talking to you, and I was, like, laughing hysterically once I figured out what it probably, I mean, it's still scary. I ended up going to the hospital and running tests, and that's what we concluded, because everything was normal. It was just a fluke thing. So be careful if you're driving, because luckily I didn't have my kids with me. Luckily I put my car in park, because if I wouldn't have, I would have for sure hit someone or crashed my car, and I would have at least been injured, if not dead, and possibly killed at least one other person. Like, so it's just more of a fluke. Like, if it would have happened at home, it would have scared me. But the fact that, like, if I wouldn't have, like, heard that voice of, like, put your car in park, and then, like, black out. Like, I remember I was already, like, kind of fading, and I just remember, like felt weak even putting my car in park. So, I thought it was so funny, because the only thing I could think of when I was talking to you about it is, like, they're going to tell me not to drink Diet Dr. Pepper anymore, and that's going to piss me off. And I don't even drink it that much either. It's not like I'm like a daily drinker of it. It's like a couple times a week, but I'm like, that's going to piss me off. And then all I could think of was, not my diet, Dr. Cal.
SpongeBob references.
And I literally, like, it's all I could think of. And then Kayla picks me up, and I grab my diet, Dr. Kelp. She's like, are you seriously bringing that with? I'm like, yeah, it's gonna get wasted. And then we go into the hospital, and I explain the same story and like also the diet Dr. Kelp situation to a couple people, and they thought it was also hilarious. Yeah, and the whole like I just was so unserious the entire thing at the hospital, because I think at that point I was in fight or flight. I was like, are you serious? My diet doctor, I keep wanting to say Kelp, the diet Dr. Pepper almost took me out in like the craziest way. I just thought it, like I was so unserious at that point.
Yeah.
But it did feel very much like you can argue that it wasn't, but all the things leading up, it really just felt like the devil was fighting us from trying to upload our stuff. I don't really know what that means exactly, but I do know that starting this was very much a God thing too. So, but it just lit a fire under my ass, really, to be like, oh, you really don't want me to do this?
Don't want to do it.
Now I'm gonna do it again and again. So yeah, that was kind of just very interesting. And the other thing that like confirms to me personally that it was a God thing is, one, I get chills when I talk about it, and two, when I explained it to my cousin Kayla, who I feel like she likes to reason things a lot, she was even like, feels like it's like a God thing, like spiritual attack type situation. And I was like, oh. And I talked to my dad about it. He's like, yeah, that all makes sense and whatever. So yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It was eventful. And then yeah, that's all we wanted to go over for that. But that kind of leads us into the first and most controversial thing that we have said so far.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get a little controversial.
Huh?
I think it's gonna get a little controversial.
Oh yeah. So, animal communicators. A lot of us have used them, including ourselves. And I saw a post on Facebook, and I am allowed to share this post, and I have it screenshot, and I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to kind of share my own story, and then you can kind of, I know you have kind of a brief situation. It's not. But I saw this post on Facebook. I have permission to share it. If you're listening, thank you for sharing this, especially because it seems like when you share stuff like this about animal communicators, people come for your throat.
Yeah.
So, Cassie Stephenson, I think I'm saying your name right. If I'm not, I'm sorry. So her post says, if I can make my phone work, seeing a lot of people seeking out animal communicators / psychic again, as I've been tagged in a couple over the last couple days. Yes, I believe that people have the gift, and the gift was given by our God, but I also believe there's people who abuse it and use it from the darkness and not the light. So I want to share my experience again. I used one for Charlie, her horse, in August of 2020. September of 2020, I got ran over by that horse. Come January 2021, Charlie got hit by a car and was killed along with my heart horse, Birdie. Not long after that, a puppy in my litter died. I had a deposit down on an Aussie pup, and that died. My dog I had for 6 years died. My goat died, and the horses that I bought that year was, I think it meant the horse, not horses. The horse that I bought that year was crippled and couldn't be a performance horse. First was a 4-year-old horse that had grade 3 out of 4 navicular. Next was a 3-year-old colt that had severe high and low ring bone. It could be entirely coincidental, but I'm pretty convinced that it's not. We've had several other freak stuff that seem to have happened since I've started speaking out and sharing my testimony. My life has drastically turned around for the better. I don't know if that made sense of what I just said, but basically since she started sharing that this was an issue, all of these bad back-to-back things seem to like not be happening anymore. I'd like to say it's because I'm fighting back again, but it could be pure coincidence, but it doesn't feel coincidental to me. as soon as I started speaking out, I can feel a difference in my mind and soul. I don't feel like I'm weighed down like I was. I speak out on this because sometimes it can work out in your favor, and sometimes it can wreak havoc in your life and cause spiritual warfare. And I want people to be aware and think twice before seeking out a Wow, I'm so sorry, guys. Seeking out a communicator or a psychic. So I apologize if that was really hard for you to listen to me say. My eyes go all over the place. I can't even talk right now.
That's okay.
But basically, I had something similar happen. I've used a couple of, like, 2 different animal communicators. And first of all, I felt like I was doing something bad the entire time.
Yeah.
And, like, just, like, gut feelings. And I truly think that was God being like, girl, you don't need to be doing this. I do agree with her that I think people do have gifts. Like, God gives us all different gifts and things like that. And I have, like, a very visual memory. Like, yeah, visual memory. And I literally will, like, sometimes be by a horse and, like, get actual visual images in my head of things and then be able to figure stuff out with them. And I don't think that's me. I think that's just, like, the Holy Spirit showing me because he knows I'm going to help that horse.
Yeah.
I get it with people too sometimes. And again, it's not me. I think it's just that I'm open and I, like, the Holy Spirit, God, whatever, knows that I want to see that. So it does, but I'm also not actively seeking out. And I was going to look up Bible verses for this, but I know that there's, like, Bible verses where it's like, you're literally not supposed to use an animal communicator. And I think she had a comment in there. I forgot about that until now, that actually has a Bible verse listed.
Yeah.
And you can just Google Bible verses that have to do with, like, psychics or mediums. I think where the issue comes into play is if God isn't directly the one giving it to us, you might get answers. Probably going to get answers, but you're tapping into something else, and that opens doors. The act of it itself isn't necessarily bad. It's the fact that you're not opening up doors to demonic activity in your life. And so when I did animal communication, I remember weird things would happen with my horse, fluke things and stuff, and I also felt like just life was got kind of crazy at the time, like stuff out of the blue. And I remember always thinking, it's because I use this animal communicator. Like, it's because I use this animal communicator. And then things would get good and I would use one again. And I got, like, some cool answers out of the deal. I'm not even going to lie to you. But the stuff that came with it, like, I feel like it took me, like, a lot of, like, asking God to, like, remove stuff off of me and close doors and stuff that I wasn't fully aware of. And so now I won't use one. I was oblivious at the time.
Yeah.
We're not 100% sure. Whereas, like, now I feel confident that it's not something I want to do. And if God's not going to show me himself, then I'm not going to actively seek someone out to do it. I'm not saying you shouldn't necessarily use one. I will say that you need to use your own discernment and pray about it, because I don't know. Like, I think every situation is so individual, and I don't feel like I know enough to be like, this is black and white. I just know that it's being made out to seem like there is no potential consequences. And it's just interesting because I had anonymously commented on a couple things about animal communicators, of how I was feeling like it had opened doors for me and it whatever, and I got attacked. And I was like, that's why I don't make things anonymous ever.
Yeah. But when you know you're gonna get backlash for something.
But that one,
like
I was like,
yeah.
I just don't want to deal with it on my personal, like, because I knew. But the fact that people were so aggressive to, like, attack me that way, just that almost felt like demonic. Like, what spirits are you operating in that makes you so mad that I'm just like, hey, this is my experience, maybe just, like, pray about it.
Yeah.
I didn't say these were bad people, like. So that's kind of my conclusion with it, is just please use your discernment. Because, yeah, okay, cool, you got an answer for your horse, but now you opened up all these doors to demonic activity, and that's just kind of terrifying to me.
Yeah.
Like, the devil's already trying to fight us enough as it is. I mean, he comes to kill, steal, and destroy, so why would you give him more access, I guess, if you don't care, then that's you, I guess, but I'm not really interested in giving him more access to my life. So yeah, that's kind of my story. I don't know if you just want to go over yours very brief.
Well, I didn't really, like, I don't know, I just had a weird gut feeling when I did a session. It wasn't anything crazy. I also just have some skepticism with it.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't know. I went into it skeptical. So I just like.
I went into mine skeptical.
Skeptical?
Yeah, skeptical too. I will say the two that I used, the one lady I feel like just didn't know enough about horses specifically to like help me pinpoint stuff enough. The second lady, I felt like I got a lot from her. It was really funny. And I like her as a person. If you're seeing this, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry if I'm hurting your feelings, but she said before she brought me up, because I think I did like 4 mares, she goes, I looked at it and I thought either this girl has a death wish with having like all these mares, or she's really in tune to like her horses and stuff. And then we started talking and she was like, yeah, there was something funny about Chewy's. The one thing where I knew it was like no one would know is I was in the barn. I was brushing Chewy's tail. It was literally just me and my horses. I had no cameras in there or nothing. And I never told anyone the story. And I out loud told her, I was like, wow, you have such a pretty tail. I should go get my pink tail bag and like braid this up while it's winter and like so it stays nice.
Yeah.
And she told, well, first of all, she told the lady she thought she was dumb, which was really kind of sad, I thought, if that's true. I do think she thought she was dumb though, because she just like, based on her behaviors, like she wouldn't try stuff because I think whatever. I mean, she probably was called stupid quite a bit when she's bucking people, but
yeah.
And she brought that up. She goes, I don't want that. I'm not girly like that. I don't want that pretty pink tail bag in my tail. Like, don't do that. And I'm like, no one would have known that. Because I didn't even say, I never said anything to anyone out loud that way. Like, but here's the thing, there's monitoring spirits. So who is to say, and I just got chills, literal goosebumps as I'm saying this. Do you not see that?
Yeah, I do.
Hair standing up. There's monitoring spirits, and they literally are here to wreak havoc in our life. And so it's also possible that, yeah, someone did hear it. It was a demon. And she was tapped into that, and that demon told her that. And I don't think these people think they're doing anything wrong, because who's going to intentionally try to do something wrong? I just think, I mean, the devil's going to try to act like he's light. They're going to disguise themselves as light. So,
well, they disguise themselves as children, as child spirits.
Oh, really?
You didn't know that?
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Nope. But I mean, I know that they do stuff like that, but so that's what I think it was. Is yeah, it was kind of cool to know that she knew, but also looking back now, I'm like, oh, I probably had like a whole gaggle of fucking demons around me, because at that time I'm sure I had a ton of open doors, and it wasn't intentional. I wasn't out here doing anything crazy, guys. But that's why sinning is, I think when people think, oh, you're a sinner, well, we're all sinners, but that's the thing with sinning is you open yourself to doors of things, and then that can just wreak havoc. And so I don't know, I guess just knowing more now, I'm like, it says not to do it in the Bible, but I think that's why. I'm not God or a pastor or a preacher, but just based off of my experience, this girl's experience, and then there's a girl who used the same lady as you, and I think that lady's just full of a crock. Like, I don't think she can connect to anything, good or bad. Right. Like, I think that she's just pulling stuff out of her booty hole, but or maybe she can kind of connect and she's not very good at that. I don't know, because the stuff that she had told the other girl was like, didn't even make sense.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm gonna say on that. Just use discernment, pray about it, and you've been warned. That's all I have to say.
Well, and especially if you do have a relationship with God, that's usually when you're gonna have more spiritual attacks. It's not if you don't believe, like, you're not gonna have problems because you're already at the farthest point away from God that you're gonna get.
Yeah, the devil's gonna attack you the closer you try to get to God, because you're an actual threat then. But I mean, they still will. I mean, it's like they're playing jokes on us all the time, basically. So it's like, in my head, like the devil and demons are just like bratty little kids who are bored. Like, they just go around being little snots and need their hinder popped.
Your hinder.
I want to pop your hinder. So I tell my kids, now I'm going to get canceled because I pop hinders, but I actually barely have to pop hinders. I just have to threaten about popping hinders every once in a while. But maybe we shouldn't be slapping each other or something, or like throwing toys each other. You're mad that you won't share. Yeah, I think that's kind of it with the animal communicator. So we have some Q&A questions that people asked us. The first one was, well, I guess these aren't really in any typical order. Yeah. What supplements and feed do we use and why? So I'll let Payne start.
Supplements. I'm gonna get real crazy with my supplements here, so just be prepared. All right.
Anti-crazy with supplements, really.
Maisie, who's diagnosed with HEAVES and EIPH through a BAO. So we know faux show.
Faux show.
She gets an antihistamine twice a day. This isn't even a supplement. This is technically a medication, but it's not. It's over the counter, whatever. And then she'll get like nebulized. When she first got diagnosed, that was pretty much it. Was we nebulized with albuterol for like a week, I think, and albuterol and a mix of saline. Things. Yep, to help. She was really struggling at that time. Yeah. I don't know what the heck was going on, but she was really struggling at that time. But that helped. And this year she's been really good. Yeah, so it's that and 2 tablespoons of salt a day on top of the Tribute ration balancer. I'm forgetting the name. And then they get Constant Comfort, which is basically their Tribute's version of Purina's.
Propanamash?
No, the gut one.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the word. The hell? It's on the tip of my tongue.
But yeah, so it's
the gut one.
Yep.
Like balances pH levels and stuff.
And that is literally it, because it's that and then
good hay.
Yep, good hay and maintenance.
Yeah.
Because bioavailability of supplements, you don't know.
It's pretty low. It's actually pretty low. The gut kills most of your supplements.
And when these supplement companies just have proprietary blends and everything, you don't know if it's staying the same from like package to package. Yeah. You don't know how much is in it, so you don't know the efficacy. You don't know, and it's honestly. I didn't name anybody. So yeah, you don't know, and you could just be pissing away money on something that whether or not it works. So I mean, if you find something that you like, yeah, if you find something that you like and you feel like it works for your horse, go right ahead. That is your prerogative. Have at her. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, salt. Feed your horse with salt. Regular salt. That's it.
Salt's not a bad thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very similar to Peyton. My horses are different, so I have different things that I do, but I have the same concept of, I think I've also tried a ton of supplements, and most of them are garbage, especially some ones that are very popular. I've tried and given like half a year or more of effort and no results, or honestly, sometimes I feel like it made it worse. I don't know, and then they're expensive. Big thing, good forage. Great forage. There's nothing that's going to fill in your forage to be better, to make your horse better. And then I have fed a lot of things. I fed Purina. I fed Tribute. I've fed Triple Crown. I've fed, what was the one that Fallon fed for a while? Is it
Total Feeds?
Total Feeds. Which that's not a bad one actually either. It's not bad, but none of them made my horses just like pop as much as Bluebonnet Intensify Omega Force. I've also fed their Total Care, which is also great, but 9 out of 10 horses that I've fed the Omega, and I've fed the growth and development as well. Literally nothing compares. It is more expensive, and that sometimes can change. Like sometimes it's 33, sometimes it's 38, but you can see all of the ingredients. The formula never changes. And I feed for 2 horses, and I think it's like a little over 2 bags a month for 2 horses. So it costs me maybe $90 a month for 2 horses to eat. But so it's not that bad. They look great on it. I like that it has all the minerals and stuff added in. And then I have them on. Well, I made my own made my own like gut thing, and it actually worked better than CEP, the gut check, which that's actually a good product. I like the gut check. It just does make me nervous because they have a proprietary blend, but it does work great as a preventative. I would still recommend it for like before hauling and stuff. But I wanted like to control what was going in there and know that it was the same all the time. So I made my own blend, and literally Hottie's body like changed in a matter of like 20 days of like, because I suspected she had hindgut ulcers. I would touch her back and like her back like flank area, and she would flinch. I'd touch under her belly and she'd flinch and try to bite me, and she's not a mean horse. But then I did a twice a day treatment with her with my own supplement, and I don't have that issue anymore.
Yeah.
So, and it's just a mix of, I'm not saying you should go do this yourself because you need to figure out how much. There is a little bit of guesstimation that's going into it, but it's colloidal silver and either licorice root would be fine, but for some reason it wouldn't ship to me for whatever reason. Use slippery elm bark, which they do pretty much the same thing, and aloe juice. It was just a combo, so it kind of got the foregut, hindgut, and it actually with the silver healed it. So I personally have seen good results with it, better than the supplements that I bought. So I use that as I use it as my CEP gut check basically. Now that they're like they did a treatment, it was mostly just Hottie. I do it before like stressful situations to prevent it, and it's working really great for me. And then there was a really amazing joint supplement that I used that actually cut, when I had Brandy, it cut my injection time in half. Instead of having to do twice a year, I only had to do it once a year. So I like knew it worked. But they have an NSAC, label or whatever. But basically it means it's not proprietary. You can see all of the ingredients and stuff that's in there and like how much and whatever. And they have a thing that's in there that's like they have patented, but the thing is the company doesn't make, they make their original formula, but it's half the absorbency. There's something that they put in there that doubles the absorbency, and the company kind of shut down. So now you can get the original one, but it's went from, I think, so most joint supplements when I looked into this are like maybe 5% of the actual supplement gets absorbed into the bloodstream because the stomach acids ruin it. But they have something in there. It's also funny, when I was feeding this, I had less issues with ulcers, but it makes sense because
it
buffered the stomach so that it couldn't do it, which it's black licorice root. Sorry. I guess I can't prove that, so you can't sue me, but it's literally the black licorice root, which is why I tried getting that, but slippery elm bark works too, and you could just all get it off of bulk supplements.
Yeah.
So you can just Google those two things yourself or chat GPT it. I don't care. But so I made my own at-home formula with bulk supplements, and it cost me maybe $200 to, also I take the supplement myself and I notice a difference because I have rheumatoid arthritis and I've felt it in my wrists a lot, and I've been taking again for like 2 days, and like my swelling on my wrists has gone down. But I give it to Chewy. Hottie's getting it now too, just because I'm trying to prevent anything that's going wrong because we're correcting a funky hoof. She's got like a club foot, but we're correcting stuff. So I'm like, it's not going to hurt her, and I don't separate them right down. So at least I know Chewy's getting it. So I got everything from bulk supplements, and I think it cost me like $200 to feed 2 horses and myself for like 5 months.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I know I can buy the original formula, but the original formula is like 30% absorbency, which I learned through this, most supplements, unless they have something special that's buffering the gut, is like less than 5% or something absorbency. So 30%, that's why I was seeing a difference when I was using it. But the other one's like double that. So it's like, I don't know if it's like 50 or 60%, something of that is getting absorbed. So you're getting more of it. So yeah, I just made my own with all the ingredients. I did add hyaluronic acid though, because they didn't have that in there. And I'm like, I know that's good for the gut. So I did add that in as well. And then I feed it with my slippery elm bark powder, and I just put it in their grain. They eat it up just fine. It's really not that much that you feed. And yeah, it cost me like $200 for 5 months to feed 2 horses and myself.
Yeah.
I don't do slippery on bark for myself, but I probably actually should. It probably would help my tummy a lot. But I mean, even with me not using the slippery on bark so that it absorbs more, it's still working really well. So I just feed that. I literally, on my one jar, it says Jesse's Joint Supplement or Jesse's Joint Juice or something like that. Because I wanted to label some of it because I have my creatine over there too. Yeah, and then the Bluebonnet, and that's literally it. And I've switched from Bluebonnet to a lot of other things, and I just can't get my horses to like blossom the way I want to. I don't know if it was the hay they were getting at the time or what, but I ended up coming back. I always come back to Bluebonnet. Sponsor me! I've been using you for 8 years, and I've recommended a lot of people to you. I love you. Also, Bluebonnet, are we low-key flirting on the Facebook? Sometimes.
Sometimes.
No, the person who runs the Bluebonnet Facebook page is amazing. Have you seen the stuff that they post?
No,
Oh my god, it's
I don't know if I
so funny. Their social media person's so funny. And I'm like always one of the first people to comment because I love Bluebonnet and like I love Bluebonnet.
Yeah.
I love Bluebonnet. So much so that like literally if another feed company ever came up to me and was like, we'll literally like give you X amount, I could and would not.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed, but I've tried a lot of things and I come back to it. So I don't know if it's just like my program or what, but I love Bluebonnet. You're never gonna outfeed supplement-wise maintenance, but in conjunction, it's really great if you have something that works with whatever you're maintaining.
Mm-hmm.
They can coincide, but also just know when you coincide things, you also need to talk to your vet because medications and supplements can interfere.
Yep.
I recently saw something about Lasix and CBD can cause low blood pressure or something like that.
You're also not supposed to give Lasix with like Equiox.
Oh yeah, I just saw that the other day too. The Butte one is what I saw. Because
any of those NSAIDs.
The point is we should be just aware because I think I wasn't being a bad person, but I was completely oblivious because it just seems like it's common practice. Like your horse is a little sore, you give him a little Butte on day 3, and you run them on Lasix because you're not going to not run them on Lasix.
Right.
So it's not that you're a bad person if you're doing that. It's that a lot of people like me probably aren't aware, you know? Yeah. So I think, like what you said, just being aware and just double checking.
Yeah, you can just Google it.
But I just thought that I feel like I've seen other people do it. Like, I'm giving my horse Butte today, and now I'm going to run it with Lasix. Like, I just feel like it was people that I thought if it was a problem, I would know. So, just good practices. Good practices. We're learning, so we're having you learn with us. The question that we have is opinions on strapping yourself and kids on horses while racing. I have several. Do you want to start?
I don't really have an opinion on this, I guess.
Okay. So I guess I shouldn't say I have several. First of all, to each their own in the aspect of every horse and every rider is different, along with the combos. Rubber banding, I know that I've seen people say, don't rubber band, you'll get drug. My rubber bands have always broke for me. And I know a couple people that have like had injuries where they've fallen and the rubber bands will still break. So that I just say to each your own. I just use the thinner rubber bands.
Yeah, don't be using honking
thick ones.
Yeah.
I just use thin ones. But I will say when I'm running, if I'm running 2D or less, I can get away with not rubber banding. I don't need to. But if I'm gonna get on something that's faster, sometimes I really need rubber bands to keep my feet from sliding out because sometimes when your foot does, if it's mid-run in between a barrel, I can get my foot back in. But if it's that like powerful on the back side where you need that foot to
you're left behind.
Or you're in the dirt or you're pulling your horse up and it really does make a difference. So I am not against rubber banding. I know that they have a new thing that's called like barrel bands or Betty bands or something that a girl came up with, and I haven't used them, but
they're really cool looking.
I can tell you what, I will absolutely be buying a pair as soon as I'm at a point where I feel like I need them again, to see if I like them better than just my big rubber bands that I use.
Better bands is what they're called.
That's what it is. Ingenious idea. Beautiful. I love it. As far as magic seats go, because I think it was referring more to that than it was rubber banding, but I just wanted to go over that. I feel like it's not bad if you have like a little dead broke pony or old horse that you know isn't gonna like take off and your kid can control where it's going, like it's not gonna bolt or something like that. I think that's fine while your kid's kind of, because you're more worried about your kid just like sliding off while they're getting comfortable, like in the beginning. Where I get nervous is when you see a little kid on a big horse and they're strapped in and they're going Mach 90. And the horse is automatic, which is fine, but it just scares me that if one thing goes wrong and the horse gets off pattern, what is it going to do? Or what happens if the horse flips or trips or rolls and your kid's strapped in? That terrifies me. I can tell you I will never do it to my kids. I can't say what someone's going to do with their kids, but as a mom, that is what one of my biggest fears is if something happens, the horse trips and falls. I would rather have my kid launched and out of the way of a horse than have my kid stuck to a horse something's happening to. So that's my opinion on that. If you're using it, like, I know a gal who sent me a video the other day, and her son has this like really nice little pony who's not going to do anything, and he's just like walk trotting on it while he's learning to ride. I think he's like 3 or something.
Yeah.
But we know that pony's not going to take off with him or like run him down a fence or do anything that would be likely for it to like freak out and roll over or trip and fall.
Yeah.
So that is like where I feel like it should be in place. I'm not saying you can't use it, and I'm not saying you bad if you do. I'm just saying it scares me when I see it. And so that's kind of all I'm going to say on that. Truly, anyone can do anything with their horses and their own children, but I won't be doing that with mine. So that's just that question. Next question. I think I got that from you.
Sorry, I did.
Yeah. Okay. How can you afford horses as a mom and care for both? But I also want to like reach out and like just first of all, you without kids, I want you to answer that. How can you afford horses and care for both? Because, well, both as in both your horses, I guess, but because I think even just like having horses at all, whether or not being a mom, is a whole different world, especially in your 20s.
Yeah.
If you aren't having someone like, I mean, you get a little bit of help with, now your horses are home and you can use one of Orion's trucks and stuff, and that is super helpful, but you're not like handed a bunch of stuff. And I'm not dissing on if you have a lot of help, that is amazing. Just don't take it for granted. But when you don't have a ton of help, it's a struggle bus if you're not an established person or you don't have a ton of money and you're still working your way up the food chain, really. Yeah. So if you want to start kind of how you...
Yeah, honestly, like mom or not, like it's expensive either way. So, I mean, you're never going to be rich owning horses, honestly, unless you got a trust fund or you got somebody else's money. And I'm not dissing anybody who has that, but I'm just saying that, like, unless you do expect to be broke in some way or another, expect to have a credit card, expect to have, but you
need... And also a tons of sacrifice.
Yeah, a lot of sacrifice, because, like, I can't just, like, up and go on vacation for, like, weeks or whatever without planning on like paying
up
somebody.
And just go to any old barrel race either. You're gonna have to plan and budget and like plan meals better, not eat out as much. There's a lot of things you sacrifice, like social time for your horses. I know when I was hauling a lot, I remember there was people who were like, "Why don't you ever come out?" I'm like, "Well, I don't have money to go out and go to the barrel race. And I'm working really hard every single day to be able to do this. So I'm going to spend a few $100s going to the barrel race versus spending a couple $100 at the bar or whatever, screwing around and then being hung over the next day," which, don't get me wrong, there was a time where I just needed to like not do something horse related, but there's also a time where I was grinding and like there's a sacrifice, there's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
So if you want it bad enough, and I think there's seasons, like right now I'm busting my butt, but I feel like right now I'm kind of getting more established again. And I'm hopeful that soon I can get back to my normal scheduled programming where I'm grinding it out a little bit more and whatever. But I also needed a break because I had been grinding like that for years on top of young kids, and I was just exhausted and burnt out.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I was going to say is like, I don't know how, first of all, I don't know how anybody who has horses, like the people that don't have like a normal job, I don't know like how you do it with like the leathering. I don't know how people do it. but the ones that like have all of the nice things on top of it, like the bloomer trailers and the like $70,000-$80,000 trucks. I don't know. I don't personally don't have an in on that, but work wise for myself, like working my way up is basically the only choice that I've had, and I sacrifice a lot of blue collar job basically.
She's a badass.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that, but
she's a badass.
Working my way up that way and working overtime and like doing what I can there. And obviously it's different when you have kids, so it's like I can't really answer that, but
I mean, I'd be in the same position as you. If I didn't have kids. I'd be working my way up to the top.
Yep.
Because I mean, maybe I would have gone to school, but I don't know. There was nothing I want. There's something that I actually would like to go to school for now, but there's a lot of clinicals that I would need to do, and with my kids and like the current custody arrangement, it just would not work because I'd probably have to go stay somewhere where I did clinicals for a while and stuff. So, for me, before I had kids, I either worked one or multiple jobs. I always had something on the side. I've been doing photography since I was like 15, 16. I started taking in project horses to either resell and or like outsider training horses when I was like 18 or 19. So I always had like at least one side gig, and then I've worked other jobs. I've worked at the post office before, and then the only reason I didn't really have a regular job is the fact that we had 2 kids and bad experiences with daycare and not enough help and 2 kids under 3, and you can't afford daycare to make it worth working your way up somewhere.
Yeah.
Like you're
childcare
paying
is insane.
Over $1,000 a month, I think, for 2 kids, for me to send 2 kids part-time to daycare.
Yeah.
Half the week would be $1,600 a month for me, and that's just during the week. That's not weekends. And I know there's places it's way more than that. So that just wasn't feasible. And when the leather thing picked up, I was horse training full time, and I had adjusted because I'm like, I don't have anyone to watch my kids even train horses. They're too little. I can't like leave them even like in a room with a monitor next to me or like in a playpen or something next to me. Like it just couldn't with the 2. It just was impossible with my situation, my barn setup that I was able to use, all the things. So I switched to doing leather, and that has opened a lot for me because I don't have to pay for childcare. My kids have sick days. I can adjust my schedule, but I will say I pull a lot of really late nights. Like in recent, I feel like I'm starting to get more balanced, but there was years where I literally would work in my shop from around 8 to 9. I'd start 9 a.m. in the morning with both of my kids. I'd bring them back home. This is when I was with their dad. We'd have dinner around like 4 or 5 o'clock, maybe 6, hang out there for a couple hours, get the kids tucked into bed, go back to the shop probably around 7, 8 o'clock until midnight, and then I would go to the gym for an hour, and then I would go home and do it all over again.
That sounds exhausting.
And I was gaining more weight than I was losing because I wasn't getting any sleep. I was completely exhausted, but I didn't have a choice. And I can afford things. Like, there's a lot of sacrifice. And now I feel like I'm finally getting to a point where I can be a little pickier on my customs. I can kind of, I'm getting faster at it. Like, my skill has gotten better over the years. So, like, it doesn't take me as long. So that helps. But honestly, me starting my wedding photography, like opening that back up to the public again, has been really great too, to help me kind of like get on my feet again, because still feel like I'm like getting on my feet from restarting my life over. But in short, there is nothing really other than sacrifice. Like sometimes I have to choose between, like, there's a bunch of dishes in my sink that need to get done, and getting work done so I can pay my bills, so that I can do the stay-at-home thing, so I can be there for my kids, and then also like be able to work my horses and all the things. And I'm trying to get a better routine so things get done a little bit better, but it's really hard. I will say, because the kids are at their dad half the time, it does give me a little bit of a breather of, okay, they're not here. I can just like zone out and like clean or zone out and work, because there are interruptions. Now they are at an age though that it is a little bit easier when they are home, because they are 5.5 and 7. What? 8. She just turned 8. What the heck? I'm like still not like processing that she turned 8, because in my head she can't be 8 already. She's literally going into 3rd grade. That's terrifying. I hate that here. I hate it here. But because they're older now and not like fresh little babies, they can like play in the room or play in the living room or do whatever, and I can work with like having to stop every couple minutes to make sure they're not, like when Colt was a baby, it was really hard. Like I could take him with me as he got a little older. He would play in the shop and all the things, but it's just really hard. It's really hard, and I will say that if you don't have a support system that will help you and you're struggling that much and horses become another chore, this might be controversial, but maybe don't do it right now. And because there was a time in my life where it was a chore and I actually just ended up being so burnt out, even though I wanted to do it so badly. It just wasn't a time in my life that it was.
Yeah.
And I don't think my horses were enjoying it either, because I was just like done. I was so fried. Don't let Instagram or Facebook or whatever, TikTok, fool you that someone has it all put together, because it looks like they're doing all the things. There's somewhere in their life that's probably suffering, or they're extremely blessed to have a lot of support or financial stability and well-being in a way where they can pay for the support. Yeah. So don't compare yourself to that, because I feel like I did for the longest time, and I went in a why me thing, especially because I was like, God, you want me to do this, but why can't I do this? So I just got a little frustrated, but I also it wasn't my time yet to do it at the capacity that I think I will at some point. So I'm sorry if that's not the answer you want, but that's just the hard truth of it. Or you can do what I'm considering doing and finding a sugar daddy. The last question here is, and this one will be short, do you have a favorite horse that you've worked with so far, and why? I'll let you answer. Do you have a favorite horse that you've worked with so far? It doesn't have to be your own either. Like if there's one you hopped on, you're like, oh man, I really like whatever about this horse. Or I feel like it's easier when it is your own horses because you know one more. But
I haven't done much with Reba, but her temperament is fun. Like, she's just a fun horse.
I think that's what makes me so sad about her.
Yeah.
It's not even my horse. I feel bad when I say I'm sad, because it's not my horse. And it probably makes you sad, but I'm like, I feel the same way about her. I'm like, I just think
she's so much fun. Like her personality is just
amazing,
top tier.
Yeah, that's what makes me excited for her baby though, because her baby will be the same. For me, Dinah was super fun to run. And it was fun being her person for a while, because she really was like so all business that if she did let me love her and had a moment of weakness, it felt really special, because it took me so long to it felt like she didn't like me because she was just so all business. But running her was the coolest thing ever, because she wanted to win more than I did. Yeah. So I loved that about her. But Chewy came to me in a really special time in my life where, I joke, but it's true, we both hated people and felt misunderstood and had our walls up and were just pissed off at the world because everything was hard. And it was as I was watching her heal and open back up and have so much personality and be silly and loving and all these things, I also watched myself do that. So it was kind of fun. Aww. Yeah. It was kind of fun watching. I think we needed each other. I think horses mirror you, but also we were she was misunderstood yeah, she was bucking. She shouldn't have been bucking, but I don't think anyone understood that she had kissing spine.
Yeah.
And she still will be a little sassy, typical Sunfrost and buck, but not like what she used to.
Yeah.
It's just a little, I don't want to do that right now. Versus before, it was like it was so panicked and like you could tell it was pain related.
There's a difference.
But then she'd get mad. She would like scrunch up her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like the nostril flare. Yeah.
And so that got a little scary because I'm like, oh my god, what if she really like flips or something? But I don't blame her. She was just so pissed off. So, and I was too. I had gone through the ringer with some people and relationships and just all kinds of crazy stuff. So yeah, it was really, I feel really connected to her that way. Like very much underdog. Like she's got random scars all over her. I got random scars all over me. Like I just feel like there's something cool there. But hands down, it would always be Hottie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Hottie has the same puppy dog personality like Garnet does. But which they call her Gigi now, but same personality, but like with all of the athleticism that I could ever imagine. The only thing that I would wish is different is I do wish she was a little bit bigger, but I'm hopeful that she'll beef out a little bit as she gets older. Because Dinah didn't even really look like a horse till she was like almost 8. So I'm hopeful that maybe next year when she's 7, she'll like gain a little bit of mass to her and stuff. But she just is so easy to train. Like she's so soft in her face, and
yeah, she's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just love everything about her. I think that her personality's fun. I mean, the other day though, she tried to run me over. They were running away from me. I was trying to fly spray them, and then I turned my back to go walk to Chewy, and all of a sudden I heard hooves. I turn around and she's right here, and I was shooing her, and she just barely missed me. And I'm like, if she would have kicked out, she would have clocked me.
Oh my gosh.
She did. She will test me. She needs to go to get to boot camp. But yeah, definitely Hottie. But Dinah was pretty cool to run, and I think Chewy has a special place in my heart for sure. Yeah. But that is it for episode 4. Faux show. So now we're gonna go hang out with our other besties, Ellie and Sam. I can't wait for him to listen to this. He's gonna be like, you bitch.
And since we forgot last episode, our emoji.
We forgot again.
Dang it, Bobby. Okay. Yeah. It, Bobby. Emoji for episode 4.
I don't know.
I think we should do the lightning bolt.
Okay.
Oh, Western like lightning bolt. Comment.
Well, it did storm today, so it's pretty. The sun's coming out, so pretty. Perfect timing. So yeah, that is all for episode 4. I hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. Again, if you guys have constructive criticism, give it to us. We want to make this better. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's all right.